Focus. Focus. We think of pop as short for popular, but it really means a fizzy solution that contains a viscous syrup. Pop is infused with gaseous bubbles to excite the consumer with fizz, with artificial flavors to excite the tongue, and artificial colors to excite the optic nerve. The tiny bubbles displace the faculties with levity and lightheadedness. The dollop of viscous syrup dissolved in the fizzy water is allegedly added to flavor the beverage. But is it not the stimulating bubbles that entice the consumer to ingest the viscous syrup? This serum is referred to proudly as a secret formula, and the consumer admires the manufacturer all the more for withholding this knowledge. Can it be that the sparkling beverage is but a Trojan horse whose purpose is to introduce a viscous syrup into the body? That's a conspiracy theory. No, that's good business. For more than a century, the public has been consuming pop, or soft drinks, a phrase that assures the consumer that there is nothing strong in it. Perhaps this denial of potency is to conceal the original purpose of soda pop, to ply the consumer with a dose of dope. Before the turn of the century, bottlers distributed colas containing a helping of cocaine to provide a quick pick-me-up. Paregoric to soothe colicky babies with opium. Preparations to be taken at regular intervals that promised regular bowel movements. Various tonics were interchangeable with patent medicines sold by conmen, orators, pushers, and peddlers, and all stripes of itinerant ne'er-do-wells. These disreputable hucksters took advantage of gullible townsfolk, hayseeds, young people, and old folks, playing on their desire for the charlatan's extravagant claims to be true. But in 1912, the Food and Drug Administration was instituted to protect the public from tonics and patent medicines, and banned the use of the cocoa leaf, opiates, and alcohol in carbonated beverages. No longer permitted to sell the public dope, purveyors of soda pop presented their fizzy beverages as something wholesome and benign. As soon as tonic ceased to be hawked by road showmen, pop was advertised by jingles broadcast over the public airwaves. Advertising jingles, like pop itself, were formulated to stimulate the consumer with sugary tunes and effervescent tempos. These jingles spawned a genre known as pop music, a species of jingle without a product, the purpose of which was to hold the listener's interest long enough to introduce an advertisement into the ear canal. The usual topics of pop music: love, eternal youth, and sundry pleasures. are employed as lures, and melodic devices are referred to by tunesmiths unapologetically as a hook. The populace is only too happy to follow these Pied Pipers, regardless of where they are led. Tinkling tunes propagate from loudspeakers on trucks distributing pop, ice pops, blow pops, as well as modern confections injected with a creamy filling. These trucks can be heard patrolling the beaches while vacationers fill up on summer reading. Pop literature, pop psychology, pop culture. No longer content to introduce pop into the body by conventional means, medical entrepreneurs have endeavored to reopen the sealed umbilical portal and through the navel directly inject the consumer with a creamy filling. The executive class maintains this is a convenience to the consumer, but the innovative technique of naval injection signals the end of the autonomy of the body. Generations of progressive public advocates have fought valiantly to prevent the captains of industry from violating the temple of the body, only to discover that the public welcomes its own defilement. Witness the widespread public use of electronic pacifiers to plug every orifice. What is the true goal of the pop industry? To foist a cheap product on the consumer for a maximum profit?
That's immoral!
No, that's being a good businessman. Yet this only obscures pop's primary underlying drive: to dazzle the consumer with hocus pocus, to deposit into the consumer a viscous serum, to inject the consumer with a creamy filling. The eyes, the ears, the mouth and nose, and now the navel. Every portal of the body is fair game in this romance between predator and prey. Having succeeded in violating the temple of the body, pop must then proceed to occupy the body, as any invader occupies the domain of a conquered people. Through this occupation, pop achieves its ultimate and unstated goal: to possess the body. The entrepreneurial rationale masks the biological imperative of time immemorial: the drive to penetrate, occupy, and possess. The indefinite continuity of this process is assured, as it is founded upon the inexhaustibility of our greatest renewable natural resource, the populace. Until at last the dreadful day of judgment is at hand, when mankind is punished for his wickedness, and all the world will be consumed in flames. This earth, on which so many scenes have been played out, will be burnt up, there being no longer any use for it. Then the earthly body, reduced to the dust and ashes from whence it came, shall find its echo in a glorified body in heaven, inviolable, incorruptible, that it may join in a more perfect union with thee, Almighty Father, through whom all good things come, who liveth and reigneth alway, world without end. Amen.
We started at the tuberculosis sanatorium, but when they tore it down, a select group of us would cross over the mountain and descend on the newly abandoned buildings